Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with episode 9 of Dr. Ameku M.D., Dr. Detective, The Angel's Descent, Part 2. I'm gonna, I want to first off start off with a bit of a spoiler warning and also a word of caution. This episode, if you plan on watching it, be prepared to have some tears, just giving a heads up. This episode it's a good episode, but it's kind of really hard to, I guess, review, because it's pretty basic. And let's go over the very begin. We'll talk about the very beginning and kind of going forward. So the episode begins with Dr. Ameku talking to Kenta, reading the book about the angel, reading the book about the angel in it. It's actually a kind of depressing story in that what happens in the book is the mother is feeling ill and she ends up passing away essentially. And the daughter is actually very thankful that she took her mother away, because she's going to heaven. She's no longer going to be suffering or anything. So it's a sad but beautiful story in a sense. But what's really interesting is even though Kenta, he realizes the point of the story, he can see that Dr. Ameku is an angel because she saved him from his leukemia. You can recognize, this is kind of a sad story, but she was an angel woman that cured it. So I kind of felt that was very interesting. It was a nice warming message that he can recognize angel can be a bringer of death, but also bringer of life to save you. I mean, that's what I think angels, you could argue angels are for. They either cure you or they will take you up to heaven. So it was a nice contrast, interesting little bit of detail. But let's move on to the big meat of the potatoes, and that what's going on with the kids. Well, a simple answer being is that when the kids learned of what Kenta did wrong, they felt bad and they wanted to give him hope in his last days. They're the ones who are responsible for the angel, and they caused their own problems by injecting ATB. We'll basically kind of go over it, but it is a produce mitochondria. Hold on. It is through providing energy to drive various cellular processes, including muscle contraction, nerve impulse transmission, protein synthesis, DNA replication, active transport of molecules across cell membranes. And this is good for someone like the heart guy, heart kiddo Etsutsuchi. It's kind of good for his heart. It can be for certain heart treatments. So he's the one who caused it. He was giving 10 milligrams, but the reason he got and he's also been giving the kids, which also can give those kind of problems they had. But he accidentally got 40 on the night of, and that's caused him to have a certain little heart attack. Dr. Ameku actually did recognize that these kids were doing this, but she kept it quiet because, they were being helpful. They wanted to give the kid hope, say everything is okay for him when she couldn't be there. So, and that's why she kind of kept it around. But because someone had suffered a heart attack, she's like, okay, I need to step in and make amends, whatever. And it's a touching scene, and following that, the kids do go home. I mean, it was kind of nice. It's like there wasn't anything bad. It was just them realizing they made a mistake and wanted to be there for the kid. It's a nice, thoughtful message about repentance and taking and doing what's right, even though it's probably not the smart thing because it does cost money to be in the hospital and everything. So there is that. But I mean, they realized they'd made a mistake. It was nice and heartwarming, but of course, Kenta does pass away, and Dr. Ameku does have the courage to go down there and be with him. I kind of thought Kotori was gonna drag her, but he's like, when it was about time for him to leave, he says, "I'm gonna be there. I'll wait for you." So, and I guess that's another way of nudging, guilt tripping her to coming down. She obviously does, and then she also reads the picture book. He does mention that he does see an angel, so it's this time. I don't know if I mentioned the last episode, and I could have checked, but the timing, this takes place during Christmas time, and strangely enough, Kenta passes away. I don't mean to laugh, but Kenta does pass away before Christmas. He passes, like, I think a little bit about 10 minutes before, or maybe about 20 minutes before. So it's touching that you gotta wake up, then have Christmas Day without your kid. I guess from my own personal experience, it was. I mean, because before my mother passed away, she was in the hospital. I guess I didn't realize at the time that she was going to pass, but when we had the first Christmas without her, it was like there was a part of my brain realized that I couldn't let this be a sad day because we had lost someone this year. I mean, I also lost my cousin Todd as well, but I know I just couldn't. There had been death and everything around that year, and so I didn't want it to be sad, and ultimately I got my dad an air fryer, which we both used, but it was like a nice Christmas. It was like a nice Christmas present. Like I wanted to be something jovial and happy despite the dark times. That it should be a good Christmas, should end on a good Christmas. I don't know. I had to. That's what I had to do. I felt like I had to do that. Make it like a happy day, just happy Christmas despite the darkness. And in some ways, that's reflected in the next day with Dr. Ameku. She obviously cried, and the next day she's like, "Yep, I'm good to go." At the end of the episode, we did see Kenta's parents did give her his hat, and unfortunately, even despite her small head, she couldn't wear it. Kind of a bit of a joking, but she's able to move on. That's what doctors need to do, and it was kind of heartwarming to see. Yeah, when dark times happen, we do need to pick ourselves up and just kind of laugh it off and sort of move on. That's not how exactly happened after my mother passed away the next day, although admittedly I was a bit angry because that week Dragon Quest Adventure Die, the episode I really wanted to see, was unfortunately canceled due to hacking, and the anime that I was supposed to relate to, Slow Loop, still there. It was kind of a bit of a weird situation. There's a character that was supposed to die, and I'm like, I need to see this episode. I don't need to be seeing this heartwarming crap, although the episode does have heartwarming. It will be fair. Anyway, enough rambling on. There is another little aspect about it with right after Kenta passes away. She asked, Kotori, why do we need to suffer like that? Like, why did this kid need to do it? And he basically says to make us doctors more honest, so we can tell our patients to their face, whether or not they're going to die, everything's going to be okay. Just be honest with them. And it's a simple message. And I don't know, personally, as a Christian and everything, I felt this was a good Christian episode. I mean, you have the angel taking away the kid. There being a lesson about repentance, making things right. And also, we have to go through dark times in order to become stronger and better people. It's a very simple message. And also learning to not be drowned in darkness at the end of the day. On a final note, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to put this, but I didn't want to save it to the end. I did want to save it to the end. I didn't want to say it at the beginning because it's a bit weird. If you love Meku's feet, there's some good shots of it. And on top of that, one of the more, I guess, stranger details that I saw is we get to see Ameku being 25 and difference her being 27, and she looks a lot younger. This could just be me, but I don't know. I thought she looks a lot older in 2 years. Like the doctor has made her aged and be more mature. Whereas this 25-year-old just seems like she kind of just got out of college or high school. I don't know. Maybe just me. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. I'm not gonna post this for this. It's not gonna be the thumbnail because just for an episode like this, it shouldn't be that. But you see what I mean. Hopefully, I'm gonna end the episode here. Hopefully, you guys have a wonderful day. This is a great episode. I absolutely loved it. It had a lot of big character moments, and just I love the messaging surrounding it. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about that I do appreciate. They did not make the flat line. They did not do that, and I thought that was actually important. The last image we saw of Kenta, or the last thing we see, is him when she's reading the picture book to him. He closes his eyes and he's got a big smile, and it just pans away to the outside and being snowy. I do really appreciate that they didn't give it that flat line. I thought that was a very smart move on their part. Anyway, on their part. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Hopefully this episode didn't drag you too much down in tears.